A man once filled with boundless energy and defiance now sits in solitary confinement. Dr. Kizza Besigye,
I came on a flight.
the most formidable opposition leader Uganda has ever known, faces yet another round of arrest and detention. The toll of imprisonment is etched on his face, his health failing, his spirit bruised, his skin pale, his eyes sunken, his once commanding presence diminished by the weight of repeated arrests, detentions, and courtroom battles.
And he looked very frail and dehydrated.
But his will unbroken. This is not the first time. It is a script that has repeated itself for decades.
How long I will remain free is a matter to watch.
Who is Kizza Besigye, and why does he remain a thorn in the flesh of President Yoweri Museveni?
The inmates who should be there are putting on neckties and moving in air-conditioned vehicles in this town.
Born in 1956 in Rukungiri district, Besigye was the second child in a family of 6. His father was a policeman and instilled in him a strong sense of discipline, and his mother a firm believer in education. Tragedy struck early. Both parents died while he was still in secondary school. In 1975, he arrived in Kampala to study medicine at Makerere University at a time when Idi Amin's rule cast a long shadow over the country.
If I wanted to do something, I would never change my mind.
Like many Ugandans, he felt the brutality of Amin's regime firsthand. One night, while at a hotel in Kampala, an encounter with Amin's brutal soldiers left Besigye battered and humiliated. It was a moment that shaped his defiant spirit. Following Amin's fall, Besigye aligned himself with Yoweri Museveni's Uganda People's Movement. The 1980 election saw Milton Obote return to power in what many considered a rigged process. Besigye was accused of collaborating with rebels and imprisoned in 1981. He endured 2 months of torture at the notorious Nile Hotel.
And nearly died in prison. And indeed, many of the people I was with in prison have never been seen again. I was lucky to escape. I went into exile in Kenya.
In 1982, he escaped to Nairobi only to return and join Museveni in the Bush War, serving as his personal doctor. He treated wounded combatants but remained away from the front line.
It entails both the surgical procedures, treating casualties from gunshot wounds or shrapnels, and also treating the medical ailments like malaria, diarrheal diseases, hookworm infestations.
His dedication did not go unnoticed. And when Museveni seized power in 1986, Besigye was rewarded with a cabinet position. At just 29, Besigye was appointed Minister of Internal Affairs and later National Political Commissar. His rapid rise surprised many, but it also made him a perceived threat to the president.
We are supposed to organize a transition to a democratic dispensation, having won the war. And the transition period we had declared would be 4 years. we disagreed on how that transition would be managed. And the transition period didn't end until 10 years later and end in courts. So having disagreed, I was dismissed from government in 1990, the end of our original transitional period.
As the 1990s progressed, he was sidelined, given less significant roles, and eventually forced out of government. In 1999, he wrote a scathing critique of the ruling party, accusing it of betraying its revolutionary ideals. The move nearly led to his court-martial, but instead of retreating, he took the boldest step of his career. In 2001, Besigye ran against Museveni in the presidential elections. He lost but contested the results, citing intimidation and fraud.
It cannot be a fair election. We've been trying to do our best in an unbalanced situation. It provides heavy leaning to the side of the incumbent and disadvantages any other person challenging the incumbent. We are supposed to run as individuals in this election. We are not supposed to have any organization supporting us.
Fearing for his life, he fled to exile. He returned in 2005, only to be arrested and charged with treason and rape, charges widely dismissed as politically motivated. Despite continued persecution, Besigye remained defiant. His third and fourth presidential runs saw him face intensified harassment.
This is our country. We cannot allow it to be held captive by a band of people.
He launched the Walk to Work protests, challenging both the election results and the rising cost of living.
We must continue the struggle. And it will be long, it may be long and hard, but in the end we shall win. We won the election. We shall win the struggle and have the power.
He was arrested multiple times, beaten and humiliated.
Very, very glad to be back.
But the more the government tried to silence him, the more popular he became.
How long I will remain free is a matter to watch.
The inmates who should be there are putting on neckties and moving in air-conditioned vehicles in this town. Who steal trillions? They are no longer stealing billions. Who steal trillions of shillings that those inmates could have used to go to school?
His critics call him an attention seeker. His supporters hail him as Uganda's strongest voice for democracy.
What we are seeing now is a leader who's become the law himself. He's telling the courts that I don't agree with your ruling. I am going to create a new law that I want in order to punish my opposition. That's totalitarianism. So we've moved through phases of dictatorship to totalitarianism.
Today, Kizza Besigye remains a symbol of resilience, a man whose spirit refuses to be broken. My name is Enoch Sikolia, and I am the Kenyan historian.